Hello, Modern Agents. Joseph Kalina here. Today, I wanted to talk about open houses. Open houses are a great way to pick up buyer leads as well as listing leads. And most agents just put up a couple of signs and wonder why nobody's showing up. Today, I want to give you a couple more tips that will increase the activity to your open houses. Number one is flyers. Print out in big letters, "You're invited." I usually do black and yellow. You're invited to an open house this weekend at date and time. Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 3 is typical. You could do more. I go around the neighborhood and door knock on at least 50 doors. And when people answer, sometimes they're a little reluctant. Like always, they say, what are you selling? "Oh, I'm not selling anything. Actually, this is your invitation to an open house in your neighborhood this weekend." "Oh, okay, great. By the way, who do you know that might be looking to move in this area? Friends? Family?" Well, I'm not sure." "Well, if you think of anybody, be sure to bring them by. We'd love to see them." "Okay, great." It's that simple. So at least 50 flyers. You could knock this out in one session, or if you're really busy, you could do 2 25-door sessions. So, one on Thursday night, one on Friday night. Just to let them know. I've also gotten listings this way. People that didn't even show up to the open house got my flyer and called me because they said, "Wow, we like what you're doing. Would you mind coming to take a look at our house?" Boom, listing. So it automatically brings out more buyers too, or more people looking at the house that are potentially looking to sell. The other thing is signs. Like I said, most agents put out a couple of signs and wonder why nobody's showing up. Well, what you want to do, the most important part, is the front of the neighborhood. You want to do what's called sign stacking, where you put a sign here, 5 feet over here, 5 feet over here, 5 feet over here, and you want to put out at least 10 in the front of the neighborhood. If you don't have 10, put out 5, but at least 10 works. Also, you want to get yourself a big 12 to 14 foot high open house flag. Flags you could pick up at a UPS store. A lot of UPS stores make them. They're a couple $100, or if you know a really good lender or company, a vendor that you work with, they sometimes have one on hand, or they could get you one. But those bring out a lot more attention. Of course, it looks like very professional, and it looks similar to when there's new homes being built to those flags, which brings out more people. Of course, you want to have directionals on every corner leading to the house. And with every sign you put, that gives you an opportunity to knock on that neighbor's door and ask for permission to put up that sign. Most of the times they'll say yes. Sometimes they'll say no, but that's very rare. But also it gives you the opportunity to knock on their door and talk to them. So signs, huge. So once you do have your flag and your sign and all of your flyers out there, on the day of the open house, you want to get early. Of course, you want to get there at least 45 minutes early to prep up. If it's a vacant house, bring a table, put a cloth over it with all the info sheets. The other thing you want to do, sign-in sheets. Okay, don't be afraid to ask people to sign in. Okay, they're there. They're at your store. That house is part of your inventory, and it's essentially your store, and you're the clerk. And they're there for a reason, guys. They always say it. Their script is always, "Oh, we don't need to buy a house, or we don't need to sell a house," but they're there for a reason. Trust me. So you want to, you could either have a paper sign-in sheet. They sell them at the local FMLS stores. It has their basic information. Are they pre-approved for a loan? Are they working with an agent? They could check it. The paper flyer, they work well. The only problem is sometimes people just either write misinformation or they scribble and you can't read it. So another thing that I suggest is to bring your iPad and download the app Open Home Pro. It's an excellent app where you could input a picture of the home. It looks all nice and neat. They click it to sign in and ask them all the qualifying questions, and they have to type it. That way it's legible and you can understand it, and it sends you email notifications afterwards saying the warm leads that you got. Okay, some people that come in, they are, it depends on how old they are. A lot of older people are scared of the technology. They feel really weird. So in that case, I'll have them sign the paper. But you want to make sure that you get them to sign in. And another good way to do this is a script to use is, "Hi, welcome to our open house. I'll be your guide. I'm Joseph with Virtual Properties. Oh, and by the way, the only thing that the seller requests is that everybody sign in so that we can make sure who's been in and out of the house, or we can keep track of who's been in and out of the house." And that's it. You put it on the seller. "Oh, by the way, the only thing that the seller requests is that everybody sign in so that way we can keep track of who's been in and out of the house." And most of the time they'll sign in, they understand, but sometimes they'll be reluctant and they'll be like, "Oh, no. And then I'll say, "Well, think of it this way. If you were selling your house, wouldn't you want to know who's been in and out of your house?" "Oh, yeah, okay." So that's my script. Of course, after they sign in, you want to tour the house with them. You want to ask them qualifying questions, which are, "So, how long have you guys been looking for?" Or, "What brought you to this area?" "Oh, well, we live in the neighborhood." "You live in the neighborhood? Okay." Chances are, if they live in the neighborhood, they are looking to list their house and sell it. If they're not from the neighborhood, then they're probably looking to buy. "Okay, have you guys seen anything that you liked so far?" And then, of course, you want to ask them if they're working with an agent. So their big script at these open houses, they're very scared, is that they are working with an agent, because they know at that point most agents will stop talking to them. Well, if you want to be a rock star, what you're going to do is ask them, "Okay, well, how is it that your agent's showing you homes? Or how is your agent looking up homes for you?" And they'll say, "Oh, we're looking on Zillow." Well, if they're looking on Zillow, either A, they lied and they're not working with an agent, or B, their agent sucks, because why would they be looking on Zillow? So I just say, "Okay, that's interesting. Wow, well, it sounds like you might need a couple more outlets to look for homes. Do you have an agreement signed with your agent?" And then at that point, they'll either say yes or no. You keep going, but don't let their answers deter you from asking more questions. Okay, and so of course, ask questions, qualify them, make sure they're a buyer that you potentially want to work with and that you could also help. And after that, the most important thing, that is the most neglected aspect of any sales job, is to follow up. Okay, I've been guilty with this myself, where I've gotten a lead and they were a warm lead, and then I didn't follow up, and I'll call them a few months later, be like, "Hey, Bob, this is Joe from the open house at 123 Main Street. Calling to see how your home search is going. Are you still looking?" And then they'll say, "We already bought a home." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So you don't want to let that happen. You want to keep following up with them every week, at least once a week after they've been to that open house, until they either tell you to stop calling them, or they'll say, in other cases where I've been winning, they'll say, "Okay, you know what, Joe? We're ready to look for you. We're ready to look for homes with you." So that happened before with a couple different people that were working with agents. They really were working with other agents, and their agents just weren't giving them the attention that they needed, and they hadn't signed a buyer agreement, so they end up buying a home through me because I communicated with them. So open house, again, flyers, door knock a couple days beforehand. More signs than you think you need. You should probably do 5 times the amount of signs that you think that you need. Make them sign in. Okay, if you don't get their info, then it's pretty much useless. And other than that, qualify them while they're there and follow up. That's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm sure there's some of you that already do a lot of these things. There's some of you that probably were looking up to step up your game, and I hope this helped. So you guys have a good one, and remember, keep pushing.